Let's assume you've already mastered the basic techniques and can consistently hit solid forehands and backhands. But you're not sure how to take your game to the Division 1 level. Here's the first step. During a rally, you generally have two shot options, cross-court or down the line. When making this decision, there are two key factors to consider: your opponent's positioning and the quality of their shot. Many players are good at reacting based on their opponent's position, but they often overlook the importance of how the ball is hit to them. You need to evaluate both the speed and depth of the incoming shot. In general, if the ball is fast and deep, you should hit cross-court. If the ball is short and slow, you can go down the line, but you don't necessarily have to. Now, let's take a look at how Jannik Sinner and Tommy Paul execute this pattern. Do you remember this legendary point between Jannik Sinner and Tommy Paul in Toronto 2023? Take a look. Out of this world, huh? Now let's break down their phenomenal decision-making, focusing on Sinner. Sinner starts with a great serve down the tee. Tommy Paul barely manages to return it, but notice how deep that return is. Sinner is forced to step back and is slightly off balance, so he goes cross-court, a smart, safe choice. Next, he gets a short ball and steps in. At this point, he has the option to go either down the line or cross-court. He chooses down the line. Another deep response from Tommy Paul forces Sinner off balance again, so he goes back to cross-court. Now look at Paul's positioning and the quality of his shot. This could have been a perfect chance to go down the line. But what does Sinner do? He goes cross-court again. That's exactly why he catches Paul off guard. Paul was expecting the down-the-line shot. Then comes a short ball to Sinner's backhand. He goes cross-court again to make Paul run. Another deep ball comes back. You can probably guess what happens next, right? Well, this one's tricky. Paul hits a relatively short ball, but with a lot of pace. Sinner chooses the safer route and goes cross-court again. He could have gone down the line on this one, but he chose cross. Paul takes advantage of the pattern, and now Sinner is on the run. This time, Sinner chooses to go down the line, but with more height and a slower pace. It's a high-percentage shot. After a long, deep rally, Sinner finally gets a real short ball. He goes down the line again, but damn, Paul's defense is incredible. He returns it deep once more. Sinner takes a risk and goes down the line again to keep Paul on defense. This time, the risk pays off. He gets another short ball to finally end the point. Now here's a great drill you can do to improve your decision-making in point play. The drill starts with both players rallying cross-court, keeping the ball inside the singles sideline. This initial rally is just to determine who becomes the attacker. No points are awarded yet. Whoever wins this first rally becomes the attacker, and the other player becomes the defender. Once the roles are set, the real point begins with a feed. The attacker is allowed to hit cross-court as much as they want, but they also have the option to go down the line at any moment. The defender, on the other hand, must continue hitting cross-court until the attacker goes down the line. Once the attacker changes direction with that down-the-line shot, the point becomes fully open, and both players can hit anywhere on the court. Here's the catch. You can only score points when you're the attacker. If the attacker wins the point, they earn 1 point and stay in the attacking role for the next feed. If the attacker loses the point, roles switch. The defender becomes the new attacker, but no point is awarded since only attackers can score. For example, let's say player A wins the first cross-court rally and becomes the attacker. The score is still 0-0. You feed the next ball and player A gets a short ball, hits a down the line, and finishes the point with a winner. Now it's 1-0 for player A. On the following point, player A misses a cross-court shot early in the rally. Player B now becomes the attacker, but the score remains 1-0 because the attacker didn't win the point. You can play this game to 5 or 7 points, depending on how much time you have. It's a fun and competitive way to train your ability to recognize the right moment to change direction and go for the point. Give it a try with a friend and let me know how you liked it in the comments below.